Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So guys, some updates. Activists are now suing Harvard over legacy admissions. Let's talk about it. So guys, since the affirmative action was struck down by the Supreme Court last week because they said that it was racist, activists are now challenging Harvard, saying that legacy admissions unfairly discriminates in favor of white children. Guys, like they wasted no time and I'm here for it. Who's here with me? And I quote, "Why are we rewarding children for privileges and advantages accrued by prior generations?" Period, point blank, guys. So let's get into the videos that I collected for you guys, but please leave your own thoughts in the comment section below and let's watch the videos.
I'm glad that people are pointing out legacy admissions because they do deserve a lot more smoke. Because listen, I went to a selective college and one day I realized that everyone around me had parents and grandparents, double parents, grandparents, whole family legacies at this institution that I went to. And my parents didn't even go to college. I had to figure out how to apply to college and do all that FAFSA stuff by myself. I had people surrounding me whose parents did all that stuff for them because they knew it. They knew the process. Their grandparents knew the process. I knew absolutely nothing. So that's a privilege in itself, right? I'm not saying that they didn't deserve to be there. Some people didn't deserve to be there, right? But a family legacy, like, to me, it's like unfathomable. So that is a privilege within itself, a huge privilege. And people don't realize that.
Making legacy admissions unlawful, they won't do that. Legacy admissions is about looking out and taking care of their own. Everything they do is about enriching themselves and those that look like them. Everything that they do systemically is to continue to keep Black people, people of color, suppressed and oppressed. I mean, the whole entire action of them striking down affirmative action at Harvard and UNC is them looking out for their own. White people and some people of color have been claiming for years that they haven't been able to get into their preferred college or university because of affirmative action. They've been complaining for years that they didn't get that job promotion because of affirmative action. They didn't get hired because of affirmative action. So, the predominantly conservative, white, nationalist, supremacist Supreme Court, they struck down affirmative action to look out for their own. And they were able to do that because racist white people, white supremacists, conservatives, white nationalists voted in a man who spewed hate and racism. He was looking out for his own. Elections have consequences.
TikTok, look at this. Harvard sued over legacy admissions following affirmative action ruling. Basically, for those who don't know, the Supreme Court rejected affirmative action in college admissions. Now activists, they trying to get their lick back. They filed a civil lawsuit against Harvard today on the behalf of Blacks and the Latino communities in the area. And get this, the nonprofit found that 70% of Harvard legacy and donator-related applicants are YT people. So the legacy admission gives priority to families of alumni who have historically been YT people. So, per the lawsuit, Harvard's acceptance rate for legacy applicants between 2014 and 2019 was almost 6 times higher than the acceptance rate for non-legacy applicants. As a result, they want removal of legacy. And I understand. But let me know in the comments how y'all truly feel about this. Is this fair? Is this not fair? Stop playing. Let me know.
And here we are. This video is older and I chose it on purpose because everyone knows that legacy admission is a form of affirmative action. So it is amazing to hear that there are communities of Black people that are suing based on this discriminatory practice of legacy admissions. It was never about leveling the playing field. And so when this Supreme Court ruling came out, I was hoping, and I said in a post I made a little while back, I was hoping this would happen, and I am thrilled to hear it happening. Because if you really want to level a playing field, you make sure people have the same starting point. Not that some have a different starting point, or if you have enough money, you get a starting point. I am here for it. Can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller Records, baby. I love it. And if we're honest, We will never have the same starting point in this country. It was never built that way. So, yeah.
Hi, this is just a reminder that legacy admissions are actually the biggest form of affirmative action in the United States, and that 52% of people that are let into Ivy League colleges like Harvard, Yale, etc., are people that are either children of alumni or major donors. So, even though the Supreme Court is hearing a case on affirmative action and it's going to be framed around an issue of race, this is just an excuse for people to be hateful towards Black people specifically. Surprise.
So to get the full satisfaction of this video, please make sure you watch this video up to the end. Here goes another update. There is also another campaign going on urging donors for 30 elite universities to stop donating to those schools until they stop doing legacy admissions. The lawsuit itself alleges that Harvard's legacy preferences has nothing to do with merit and takes away slots from qualified students of color, which I totally agree, guys. It also demands the U.S. Education Department to declare legacy admissions illegal. Lawsuit is done on the behalf of the Chica Project, African Community Economic Development of New England, and the Greater Boston Latino Network. I am totally rooting for them, but I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, and let's watch the rest of these videos.
Don't get me wrong. I fully appreciate the spirit and the energy behind this. I believe that if affirmative action is out, then so is legacy admissions. And in my opinion, it never should have been a thing in the first place. However, we all know who sits on the Supreme Court. This is from 2022, but as you can see here, and as we all know, the majority of Supreme Court justices have come from Ivy League law schools at a minimum. Some of them have gone to Ivies for both. And you cannot tell me that these people do not want to make sure that their great grandchildren are not going to be welcomed in, no questions asked, as a result of them having gone to Harvard, Yale, or any other Ivy. But what I do think makes a lot of sense and actually will probably work even faster and better is this. There is currently a tax proposal to hold colleges and universities that have large endowments and traditionally admit a ton of legacy students that will tax them and redirect those funds. Where will the funds be redirected to? You can see here. The money ideally will be given to poorer community colleges. And if people want to say that that's unfair, think about it. Harvard alone has an endowment of $50 billion. They do not need $50 billion. However, if they can be held accountable from a tax perspective for that endowment that they do not need and will never use in its entirety to support other colleges and universities that actually will be accommodating a number of the students that they cannot even admit since they have like a 5% acceptance rate, that would be a great way to redistribute some of those resources and hold them accountable for their legacy admissions practices, which I think we can all agree that 20, 30, 40% of a class is wildly out of control. So while I would like to see legacy admissions go away in its entirety across all colleges and universities, I just don't foresee a scenario where that makes it all the way to the Supreme Court and then the majority of those justices vote against their own personal interests. As we can see, they have, as of late, been voting wildly in favor of their own personal interests. But taxing and redistributing some funds, that to me, brilliant, excellent work, fully supported. What do y'all think?
Let's use our handy dandy critical thinking skills for like 5 seconds. Why on earth would people talk about legacy admission in a case about affirmative action? It's almost like legacy admissions gives rich white people an unfair advantage, like observable statistically significant inequities on top of other mounting inequities in the college process that set people of color and low-income people behind. Affirmative action, at the very least, attempted to nullify these inequities. But now, with it gone, we actually do have to attack the source of a lot of these inequities that we live on a day-to-day basis, such as legacy admissions. I'm not looking back, babe. I'm looking forward to things that can be done right now to make the college process more equitable going forward, which does mean eliminating legacy admissions and all the other factors that make it so that white and or rich applicants get preferential treatment in the process. It's not a deflection, babe. It's an analysis into the ongoing systems that made affirmative action necessary in the first place. Because ignoring the impacts that race has on our systems does not make said impacts go away.
So there's apparently a bill that the legislation in Massachusetts is trying to pass that would tax places like Harvard, which gets endowments of ridiculous amounts of money, billions of dollars. Harvard gets like $50 billion. They don't pay very much in taxes, apparently. So now they're trying to tax them over $100 million. And they're trying to do this to where if that bill goes through, that $100 million could be passed on to community colleges. Of course, all this stems from the whole affirmative action. No longer. So they're not just going after Harvard, they're going after a couple of other schools that have a lot of endowment. And Williams College, which I have never heard of because I'm not about the Ivy League lifestyle. I am public school through and through, except when I was in Kenya. I was in a Catholic private school, and then I moved here, and I've been public all the way. So they're going after these private colleges that allow legacy admissions, which of course we know is an unfair advantage that mostly keeps white students on top because their parents are ex-attendants of such a school. And so they get the expressway into admissions, whereas everybody else who's not a legacy admission has to go through the regular traditional application process. And of course, with that affirmative action, that cuts out URMs like me. The measure is opposed by an association of private colleges in the states. Who'da thunk? So, of course, the people supporting the legislation are arguing that you cannot support legacy admissions, which benefits rich students, while you are basically ignoring affirmative action, which benefits underrepresented minorities. So basically, you're just widening this gap. So these Ivy League colleges that actually use this legacy admission process say that they are building a community from parents who donate to the school and help boost financial aid budgets to benefit less wealthy students. So is this a double-edged sword? We are trying to get rid of legacy admissions, but at the same time, those legacy admission parents are the ones who are donating all this money for URMs to go into this school. But now that affirmative action is gone, how can this be a double-edged?
So that's some good news I had for you guys. Please let me know. Leave your own thoughts in the comments section below. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, guys, please go ahead and subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so that every time I upload a new video, guys, you'll be notified. I will definitely see you in my next video. Peace.